So greetings from Pennsylvania once again. Welcome back to another video. We are here just north of State College. We're now in Centre County. We did quite a bit of filming down in Huntington County earlier today, but now we're here in Centre County, just about 3 miles north of State College. And we're on state game lands 333. Thus we got the orange on. Although I just think it's archery season right now, but whatever. Yeah, so you can tell by the title of the video, we have one of our Bigfoot stories to tell you. We're currently here on what's called the Spring Creek Trail. Check this out. This is beautiful. I just parked just up that way off of what's called a Shiloh Road. Beautiful spot here. Yeah, man, if you're gonna go looking for Bigfoot anywhere, this place is beautiful. Wow. Yeah, so earlier this year, maybe in the spring or winter, someone sent me a newspaper article about this story. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but finally up here in the State College area, I got a little bit of time to share this story with you. Just gonna find a good place to tell the story. Like I said, we're just north of State College, and the story is from a student down at Penn State, and it's from earliest year, February 2025, so it's a recent story. Let's see, might have to head off into the woods a little bit. I will see. You can find a spot down by the creek. And as with all these stories, I'll let you decide if you think there's any truth to it or not. I might give a few opinions, but I'm not on here to tell you whether the person's telling the truth or not. As I always say, you decide once I tell you the story. Let's go down this little side trail. I think it'll take us down to the creek. Maybe we can find a nice place to sit down here. Nice log or something, maybe. Maybe. Or maybe it's a Bigfoot trail. No, it's just a fisherman's trail. Could we have a log to sit on? No. Alright, but I think we'll just make the most of this spot and just sit here regardless. Don't have a nice log to sit on, but that's fine. I did remember to bring the newspaper article so I can read that to you. Got my reading glasses in here. So I don't know exactly where this took place here on state game lands. I think it says in the western part. It's not a very large state game lands. It's just, like I said, just maybe 3 miles north of State College. We're right off of Interstate 99. You take exit 76. Shiloh Road, and brings you down this road here. Kind of nice spot. Never been here before, but something called Spring Creek Trail goes all along here. But is it a good place for Bigfoot? So yeah, decently long article here. This is dated, the newspaper is dated March 15th, 2025. So let's read this together. So PSU students, that's Penn State University. PSU student thinks he encountered Bigfoot on game lands near campus. Alright, here we go. A Penn State student is sharing a harrowing encounter with something he believes is a Bigfoot that occurred about several weeks ago on game lands near the Centre County campus. The male student was only identified as MK, his initials, in a report posted on the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization website. Although he also appeared on a recent episode of the Sasquatch Chronicles podcast and went by Mac. So this guy's getting his story around, which I find a little suspicious, maybe, perhaps. Is he just looking for attention? But anyway. Alright, here we go. Penn Live, which is not a newspaper, reached out to the group to speak to the witness, but a message was not returned. According to the report MK filed with that association, he was raccoon hunting on February 19th in the western part of State Game Lands 333, about 3.5 miles north of campus, along the Spring Creek, which is right here. When about 6:30 p.m., the student said he heard a tree knock, which Bigfoot researchers say the creatures frequently do. He then said he was followed. MK described the knock to an investigator as if you took a bat and gave a tree a nice firm tap. Yeah, so far he hasn't seen anything, just hears the tree knock, which is what a lot of people talk about when these Bigfoot sightings. MK said he was using his spotlight to scan the forest and could hear something walking along with him, as well as ice and twigs snapping. At one point he turned with the spotlight and saw something large and upright go behind a tree. He told the investigator that he then called a friend and begged him to bring his AR-15 rifle and come help him escape the woods. It's kind of interesting. While still on speakerphone with his friend, the student said he turned and caught a Bigfoot in his spotlight about 40 yards away. Alright, MK reported that the creature looked like King Kong, but with a sharper nose and gray skin on the face. He said the Bigfoot had a pronounced brow ridge and sunken eyes. The Bigfoot's head was sloped back and rounded, and it seemed to have a receding hairline, kind of like me. The report said, okay, MK estimated the creature at over 7 feet tall with a massive body larger than the biggest bodybuilder. He said he viewed the Bigfoot for about 2 seconds, so that's kind of important there too, just 2 seconds. Frightened, MK said he chose to squeeze through a thorn bush to sprint to the creek and towards his truck. Alright, heading forward would have sent him in the direction of the creature, he said. I'm not really sure he would go forward anyway. If his truck was back that way, why would he go forward? Doesn't really make sense, but anyway. Going by Mac, the student also shared his story on the February 22nd episode of Sasquatch Chronicles, a popular podcast on which people share encounters. He describes it here again. It's a moment I will never forget for the rest of my life because I saw that thing clear as day, he told the podcast host. MK told Germer he felt trapped. Germer was the podcast host. He said he felt trapped and hunted, and that he also saw a blue light moving through the woods. Okay? This was the student's second Bigfoot sighting, he said, claiming to have seen another one in Bald Eagle State Park in 2020. So I guess we'll read that other encounter too, but I just noticed, I was looking over here, there's like some snake skin over here. Shed snake skin right next to me. That's interesting. I don't think there's any snakes out today though, it's a bit chilly. Yeah, so I guess this is his other experience. Yeah, he also shared an experience on February 1st on State Game Lands. In that case, MK said he was hunting and using a predator call last month when he got a dreadful feeling and felt like he was being watched. So maybe this is the third encounter, almost sounds like. Although he continued to hunt, MK said on Sasquatch Chronicles that he felt uneasy, like a heat-seeking missile was targeting his back. Later, he heard a sound as if someone was slapping the creek water. Leaving the area, MK said he caught the silhouette of something on the other side of the creek go into the brush. MK told the investigators that he left in his truck but quickly pulled over to retrieve his cell phone from his vest. That's when a small stone flew out of the nearby woods and hit the ground near him, causing him to jump back into his truck and speed away. I dove into the front seat like Superman. I was terrified. So yeah. So it seems like in those other cases he didn't actually see anything. Alright, and what do you think of this story? Yeah, so some initial thoughts. Was he drunk? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if I give much credit to the other sightings that he had because he didn't actually see something. But yeah, when you're out hunting in the woods, it's dark. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. Kind of thinking a little bit. Was it really, he said he saw, when he shined his light on that thing, he said he only saw it for 2 seconds, I don't really think that's enough time to really get a definitive view of something, because sometimes, like I mentioned this in the sun's kind of right behind my head there. Let me see if I can rearrange this. Maybe we'll just start walking back up to the main trail. Yeah, because when you see only something for 2 seconds, even though he had his light on it, like, your mind tends to fill in the blanks sometimes with what you see. We've talked about that in other videos. You know, because if you have Bigfoot on your mind and then you see something, you're only for 2 seconds, your mind does like fill in those gray areas, and you know, you think maybe you saw something that you didn't. Not saying he didn't see anything, but you know, could there have been another person out there that was messing with him? You know, did his buddies know he, you know, he's a college student, did his buddies know he was out hunting? Did they go out there to mess with him a little bit? Or was it just some creepy dude out in the woods? I think he says it was 7 feet tall and massive and all that kind of stuff, but like I said, you know, it's dark, you shine a light on for 2 seconds and it's, you know, decent distance from you. Just saying, but like, you know, how well are you really seeing what you're seeing? And that blue light that he saw kind of makes you wonder if was someone else out there hunting too? Is that what he saw? Was that someone else's light? And the creature that he saw, was that another person out there? It's a possibility. I guess me personally kind of leaning towards that. I think there was someone else out there in the woods with him. I don't think it was Bigfoot. I think there was another person out there that was either just kind of messing with him or who knows what. There's creepy people out there, folks. Just, you know, recently I uploaded that video of that awkward encounter I had in the woods with the guy that was, you know, we call him Creepy Thong Dude. That was out in the woods, yeah, just wearing a thong. So there are creepy people out there. You know, or is he just someone looking for attention? You know, he's reporting all these stories to these, you know, podcasts and these organizations. You know, that's a possibility too. You know, just being honest. I never met the guy, I don't know who he is, but people do that. There was a TV show some time ago where they were, you know, well, there's been any number of TV shows about Bigfoot, but they were researching Bigfoot and asking locals in areas where there's sightings what they thought, and certain people appeared on this TV show, you know, telling their experience or their sighting, and it was later discovered that some of these people just lied. They just made up a story just so they could be on TV, you know, and that's just kind of sad, but that's what people do sometimes. Not saying that that's what he did in this story, but it is a possibility. But once again, just a beautiful spot. I mean, if Bigfoot exists, wouldn't it be cool to see him just wade across the stream and get super clear, you know, evidence, hey, there he is, but yeah. And to be honest too, your mind does play tricks on you. We talk about it filling in the blanks when you see things, but sometimes if you start feeling weird, like you are being followed and things like that, you know, hear a tree knock somewhere off in the woods, your mind does start running away with itself, and you do think you start hearing footsteps and twigs breaking and things like that, you know. Who knows? Could have been just another animal, maybe his mind was just playing tricks on him. If you start getting that in your mind, if you're out in the woods at night and it's dark, and you think someone's following you, then you start getting kind of paranoid. That's a possibility too. But as always, like I said, you can let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Is this guy telling the truth? Is there something out here in these woods? A Bigfoot? You know, did he really see something that night? Or if he, you know, if he did see something, was it Bigfoot or was it someone else that was out here? Another hunter or who knows what. Some weirdo in the woods. But I've given my thoughts, and as you can tell, I don't really give this one much credence. I feel like if he did actually see something, that it was maybe a person that was another person that was out here, something like that, another hunter maybe. Like I said, we are not far from State College at all. So anyway, also kind of feels like someone telling stories just to get attention a little bit. I know you might get mad at me for saying that, but anyway, as I said, let me know what you think. Well, a squirrel runs off there, not Bigfoot, but a squirrel. All right, but I think that'll be it for this one, folks. I did like the story because it was a longer story to tell. Sometimes when we do these videos, I don't have the longest story to tell. To be honest, when I research for these, sometimes it's just people, oh, I saw something run across the road, and that's their story. Well, I can't make a video out of that, but this one was actually a longer article, a longer description of what happened out here, so it makes for a better story, regardless of what you think of it. So, but yeah, I think that'll be it, folks. Like I said, let me know what you think down below. I got a bit of a drive home. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.